Welcome to Jordan Drew, the Sports Crew, the 2021 to 2022 NBA midseason recap. And look at this. Jared Valleskey's on with me from Journey to a Million. This is going to be a lot of fun. I am the host today, Drew Skyberg. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Jared, are you looking forward to talking some NBA? Because we've been talking a lot more NBA recently.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's prime NBA season right now. Playoffs coming up soon enough. All-Star game just happened, so it's a good time to talk about it.
For sure. And like Jared and we mentioned, look in the future, maybe us two co-hosting, a potential NBA series come spring, because those EWC weekly recaps, we once basketball ends, I mean, there's that layoff, between all the sports. So keep on a lookout for that. And yeah, with that, let's get right into it here. Let's talk about the Sunday night All-Star game. We'll be very brief about this because, as we know, the All-Star game is not really popular as much in the NBA. And, we can say about like every sport, look at the NFL, the Pro Bowl. The only All-Star game, with it being like kind of like right in the halfway point, gets a lot, being a midsummer classic, might get a lot more attention. But yeah, let's talk about it. Jared, were you able to catch some of this game?
Yeah, I saw the end of it, and like I didn't watch the whole thing, but like I saw obviously the highlights. I watched back, and I saw key players such as Curry. Giannis had a good game. I saw most of it, but I didn't watch the whole game just because, like you said, it's not an actual NBA game. It's fun to watch. It's just like, if it's on, I'll watch it, something like that.
Yeah, and the end of the game is when it gets very exciting with the Elam ending, right? And that's kind of that's when I watch. The first time it's just them. It's just them chucking up shots. Okay, right?
Yeah, there's no defense.
Cool highliets.
Yeah, it's just all shots going up until the end. Yeah.
With the Elam ending, them adding it, and for those who don't know, it's where you'll take the score of the team winning after the end of three quarters, and I believe they had 24, right? In honor of Kobe,
yep.
Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant. Yeah. So what happens is that gives you a target score, and that will then the target score was 163.
Yep.
So what happens is that becomes the score. You got to hit that score to win, so that it's like back and forth. There's not fouling at the end of the game. So we've seen this in the TBT, the throwback tournament. I don't know if you've heard of that, Jared. With
no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's where alumni of colleges actually play against each other. Wisconsin doesn't do it; only Marquette does, because they're just
superior, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Travis Diener, you see him in it, but yeah, hopefully, Wisconsin would have a pretty good team. If they were to go in it, maybe we see Decker come back. He's doing well overseas right now, but I like the ending. It really adds to it, but eventually Team LeBron won, with LeBron going into Cleveland, hitting the game winner. He didn't really do much. Let's say, before that, in the start especially, he kind of had a tough stretch, 11 for 24. And that's not really exactly an all-star game, field goal percentage you'd want, considering the defense not being played, right? So, but yeah, Curry dominated, 16 for 27 from three. This is some NBA 2K numbers, you could say, right?
Yeah, I saw people saying that LeBron was being selfish at the end of the game because he wasn't giving it to Curry. I'm like, it's Cleveland. He got them a championship, famous Cleveland. This is for you. It's like it fit perfectly, and that was like his shot. I think he knew he was going to try to take that the whole time, and I thought that was. It was a tough shot. It didn't look like it was going in, but what a way to end it,
Exactly. Chris Middleton shot 1 for 8. We're looking, the Bucks numbers. Yep. Giannis played very well. Giannis gives it his all, no matter what. And that's why the All-Star game is kind of weird for him, because it's hard for him to dial it back. 15 for 21 from the field. And yeah,
he did block Middleton as well.
That was funny.
He said he did not know. He didn't know it was Middleton. He said he just blocked. Saw a cutter.
That was interesting. Luka only had 8 points. I know some people were saying he was going to have a big game.
I also saw people saying that Jokic, I think Nick Wright, his name is. He's on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
He was saying how Jokic was disappointing because he didn't play the whole fourth quarter. Well, the reason for that is because Jared Allen played, and it was in Cleveland, so they gave him the start, played the whole fourth quarter basically. So, people, I don't really look at stats as in they didn't show up because it is an all-star game, and there's circumstances that like Middleton played like 20 plus minutes, right?
Yeah.
And he shot 1 for 8. It's like, I think they're just having fun out there. It's not really play the best people. It's just play the people that want to play, you know?
And if you look at the minutes discrepancy, it's actually kind of interesting. Jimmy Butler only played 9 minutes in this game, right? And it doesn't really, Fred VanVleet as well. And Chris Paul being an outlier. We'll talk about him when we talk Suns, but
he still played in the game too, though.
I'm not sure about that.
He had a brace on his hand.
I know people, especially the Suns community, some people aren't really enthused with seeing him play in a game like this, right? Because it's a rec game. But at the end of the day, Giannis showed up. Middleton didn't play that well, and Giannis's team won. Team LeBron. LeBron hits the game winner, and that wrapped up a fun All-Star weekend in Cleveland. So let's talk now. When this episode airs, the second half will be starting in the NBA. So we're gonna talk all things. We'll start from the bottom to the top. We'll talk because now remember the play-in. So there's 10 teams that make the playoffs in the East and the West. We'll start right in the Western Conference here, Jared. We'll try to spend 2 minutes max on each team. I got my timer here ready. We're going to start from the bottom. Like I said, we'll talk Trailblazers. All right. Okay, timer is up. Are you ready, Jared?
I am.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. I got to now find something that I want up. There we go. Come on. Load. All right. 3, 2, 1. Trailblazers. Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about CJ McCollum now gone. They're doing this rebuild. And look where they are. They are in the play-in right now. Weird spot. It seems like they're trying to, sell off a little bit this year with Dame out. Would you agree then?
Yeah, like you said earlier, like last episode, they're not doing a rebuild. They're kind of like, they're still in the mix of it. So like they're not trying to tank or anything. They're getting in some talent. They still do have Lillard and now Anthony Simon stepping up. Like they're in an interesting situation here, still being in the 10th seed right now.
Yeah, Anthony Simon's averaging 17 and 4 assists. And then another guy, Jusuf Nurkic, he's played very well for this team as well. And then we learned
he's out. He just got hurt, I think. He's out what was it? At least a month, it said. So we'll see what they do. I mean, if they go up or down in the rankings, but
it seems like for them it would only make sense to tank. I think that would be like the move to make, because with Dame out, I don't see any reason to, let's say, compete for that 10th spot, right? Because they're gonna end up playing. If you come out of the play-in, right, you're gonna play the Suns. I think that
basically
where they are probably. And like Nasir Little, he's out for the year. Dennis Smith, I believe they let go.
I think so. Yeah.
So Winslow, like they have some young pieces that they were able to get. Josh Hart, he's a great player out of Nova. I really am happy with who they got in that. CJLB, just some solid, pieces to build around, I'd say. But right now, this team is not the same without Dame. And
no, they're not going to. You can go.
Eric Bledsoe, we still talk about, remember, buyout candidates. I still think he's one of them with his salary where it's at. And that kind of wraps up, Blazers, right? They're kind of
in that 10th spot, not doing much this year. Yeah, I agree.
10th spot they stay. Okay, next team. That was like right under 2 minutes. Perfect. So we want to not make this go
too long. Yeah.
Terribly. Yeah, exactly. Next team. This one will be interesting. We're talking the Lakers. Oh. And this is going to be interesting because the LA
Do we have to talk the Lakers?
Yeah, we do. Let's go. Lakers. So where they are right now, the 9th spot, 27-31. And they won their last game, but they are looking not ideal for where they should be because, again, you have LeBron James on your team. You have Anthony Davis, who's dealt with injury problems, and now he's out. We learned, right?
Once again.
Yep. Which has been concerning, but LeBron's playing at top tier. You could say MVP level, but there's obviously guys ahead of him. We'll talk awards at the end of the episode. But Jared, what do you think about this team, especially like guys like Westbrook and Anthony? What are your concerns with?
I mean, LeBron's playing great. It's just the people around him. Like Davis can't stay healthy. Westbrook's not being able to shoot. That's why they should have made trades. I mean, they can hit the buyout market, but it's not going to improve their team that much to make them like contenders this year. So I would say LeBron's getting old. He's got maybe a few more years left in LA unless he wants out, but I doubt he'll want out. So right now this year they're at the 9 seed, and they've been like I mean, they haven't been good when LeBron's playing. It's just been up and down. So, I mean, 27-31, you said? It's just,
told you 27-31. Yeah.
yeah, they're just, I mean, I don't see them doing anything this year. I just don't like watching them. They're not fun to watch. I don't like talking about them. I don't know. I just don't like the Lakers this year.
One guy I do like there's a couple of guys. Malik Monk has stepped up. Resurgence, I'd say, in Los Angeles. He's played very well for the Lakers. He's been the kind of guy step up. Westbrook, he's had his moments. And that's how it's been. I mean, this last year. What else? Looking down up and down the roster, there's just been so many questions. Bradley's played like they have solid, role players who've stepped up, but it's just it's not all there. And like Jared said, it's old. Like a lot, their roster is one of the oldest in the league. It's just sometimes hard to watch with this Laker team. So I
don't know how many more years they can continue doing this
for the second half. I think they slide into playoffs, but I don't know how they from because against the juggernaut, they're not going to be able to hang in there with all the injury problems. And if everyone gets healthy, though, I still think they could maybe make a run to the semis because, you got to look at they still have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, right? So,
and when LeBron ges to the playoffs, he's a different beast, he could turn it up a notch. So don't rule him out yet, but not looking good right now.
They certainly could be on the ups for sure. One team that it's interesting, the Clippers are ahead right now of the Lakers at the number 8 spot. So with the play-in rules, right? 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9.
Yes. Wait, no. 8 plays 7 plays 8. Loser plays the winner of 9 versus 10.
Yep. Thank you.
And winner
that's how it changed.
Yep.
Because then you have to play. Yeah. So there's a potential though for the Clippers and Lakers going at it
to play. Yeah.
And the Clippers
without Kawhi and Paul George right now, right?
Yeah, it's been interesting. And plus they made those trades.
Yeah.
So now with Norman Powell and Robert Covington, Zubac, he's played well for the Clippers, which
who's their backup center right now?
Backup center,
because they don't have Ibaka.
Because they did deal him. Let me check into the roster here because the Clippers have been an interesting story with how they've really performed as of late. Without
surprised, they're still, in the mix with. Luke Kennard has stepped up. Reggie Jackson.
There you go. Yeah, Amir Coffey.
Amir Coffey. Yeah.
What a fun last name.
I was betting on him for sleeper for some picks earlier in the year.
Oh, it's Hartenstein, right? The
guy from Isaiah,
from Houston, and now he's with them. Terrence Mann, throw out another name. Kawhi, he's been out, like you mentioned. Paul George. Mm-hmm. It's been interesting. They got Semi Ojeleye now. Hey,
that's right, and Rodney Hood, right?
Supposed to be PJ Tucker. Yeah,
I think Rodney Hood's there too.
Yeah, they do, but they're not going to do much with that team. No. Solid pieces with Robert Covington and those guys. I think this is that was a great trade for them. Norman Powell, they have all these solid guys, solid role players around. That when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard come back, I think they'll be a juggernaut if they can keep those people to stay.
We have to realize this team was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and they were up against the Suns, I'm pretty sure. And then were they up? I don't know if they were up, but they were going at it against the Suns, and
the close games
beat them. So, yeah, they were up there. So if they get healthy, watch out for them.
Exactly. I think that's how you put it. Because same with the Lakers. If they can have everyone out, these teams still have. If you look at the roster up and down, it's still a championship caliber roster. They could win, but it just depends on the health right now. That's been an issue for both those squads. All right,
Kawhi is a champion, same as Lakers. They have a lot of champions on their team, so they got the potential there. So
last play-in spot right now, or the top seeded play-in spot right now is the Timberwolves. Here we go. They finally are sneaking in, and this seems long overdue, right, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, where everything's just coming together. Anthony Edwards is a guy, sophomore year right now, playing like a number 1 overall pick. And some people weren't sure, if he was the right choice at the time, out of Georgia, but he stepped up. Patrick Beverley's looked pretty good. Jared Vanderbilt, talk about, a guy who's kind of came out of, not a lot of people were talking about him at the start of the year, and he's kind of just came on as their starter, their 4. So what have you seen from this T-Wolves squad?
Karl Anthony Towns, 3-point shooter, 3 3-point a contest champion. I mean, yeah, they got Karl Anthony Towns. Even McDaniels, he's been. I mean, you've watched him in the Rising Star games. It kind of like spoke for itself. He was hitting his shots. I mean, young talent they have with Edwards, like you said, and Vanderbilt. Like they have a good team, and it's nice to see them finally get up here because Karl Anthony Towns, he has gone through a lot, as we all know, with his, I think it was his mom. Yeah, he's gone through a lot, and it's nice to see him finally get some on a good team. Like they've been great this year. Now they're at the 7th seed, so good for them.
You know what's impressive, Jared? Here, everyone's under 30 except one guy. That's Patrick Beverley. Yep, 33. Yep. Wow. So talk about.
I think he just got an extension too, didn't he?
He did. And so that requires you to talk in a little bit of Jordy DeMillion here. A little preview for Friday, but I took him because right after he got the extension, I took his over and he hit because I was like, hold on, he got his money. So so it worked out. But this team is up and coming. They're the future, and this obviously I don't think it's their year yet. I think it's going to be a couple of years until we see them hit their full potential before these guys develop. So.
Yeah, and also Karl Anthony Towns, YouTube, watch him. He's a nice guy. He's funny. I mean, he reacts to a lot of content, his own highlights too. So he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, we'll talk next team here. This is a little surprise for many. The Denver Nuggets. They are the 6th seed with probably, right now he's the MVP of the Western Conference. I can say that. I know we can't go into maybe say he's the MVP of the league because there's 2 other guys right now who are around in that conversation. But let's talk the Nuggets, 33-25, like I said. Boogie Cousins got assigned for the rest of the year. That's some recent news. And, of course, they're highlighted by Nikola Jokic. And then, of course, Marcus Howard out of Marquette, right? That's their
garbage minutes Howard.
Their star. Those. But Jamal Murray being out, and they've still hung in there. Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Which rumor has it he might be back for the playoffs.
Really, I didn't hear that.
Rumor does have that, so that'd be pretty cool, right?
It would be. I mean,
MPJ coming.
They can
back.
make a run. They can make a run. They got Jokic, like you said, top 3 MVP candidate right now, clear in the West right now. I mean, they got Embiid and Giannis, but. Yeah, I mean, is Murray coming back? I don't think he's back this year. I think he's out the rest of the year. Right.
Yeah. But they have solid, Monte Morris has stepped up. And then also they just have solid veterans around. And that's what champions have, right? With Aaron Gordon, JaMychal Green, Jeff Green, and then DeMarcus Cousins. And I'll throw Will Barton in there. He's been a solid starter for them. So keep an eye out for the Nuggets. They could upset maybe the 3 seed if they are 6-3 go at it.
They could definitely. I mean, Morris, he just had a game winner before the All-Star breaks. I mean, they might have some momentum
against the Warriors. Yeah, they made a statement win against the 42-17 Warriors. So Nuggets are on our, they're a lookout. They're a team that could make a little run there too. And then, of course, the number 5 team here, the 35-24 Dallas Mavericks. And the story of this team right now is, Porzingis traded, and then look at how Luka Doncic has been playing. He's played phenomenal. And I know Porzingis has been out, so that didn't really matter. He's still out right now. He is unstoppable is a word you could use. And Mark Cuban even used that word to describe him. And wow, he's played phenomenal. And then Jalen Brunson, another guy out of Nova who's played well. I just got to throw those guys out who've been Reggie Bullock. He's been Maxi Kleber. He's played well. If you're looking, because he kind of took that spot when we saw Porzingis get traded, and then Dorian Finney-Smith. So what have you seen out of the Mavericks so far?
Yeah, I mean, and they just got Dinwiddie and they got Bertans, right? They got both
Bertans,
of them.
So they've gotten better.
Trade. Yeah, so I mean, they're looking good right now. I mean, they did give up Porzingis, but he's been hurt. So they're the 5 seed. You said 5.
Yeah, I did say 5. 35-24.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, they're fun to watch. Luka's a young player still. He's really young. So, I mean, he's been impressive this year. 22. That's younger than I thought. They've been really good. I mean, see if they can do what they did. They've made the playoffs the last few years. They've been good in the playoffs. So, we'll see. They're still young. Like you said, they got Finney-Smith. Tim Hardaway is on that team too, right?
Tim Hardaway Jr., yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got some young talent. They can make a run.
For sure. Luka, 28 points, 9 assists, and he's averaging like 35, like 9 and 9 or something like in the last 5 games. So he's trending up, and the team's played well as of late. They've won. What was that? That's 6 of their last 7. So they're looking good, and they lost the back-to-back and against the same team, and those are hard to win. So I like the Mavericks making a run. I saw people are like Luka MVP push right now in the second half, which is certainly in the realm of possibilities with how he's played. So gotta look out for that.
Far. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I know he's got a leap to make, but if he averages 35, 10 and 10 for the second half, he would. But it's just the possibility. It's not really likely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the last team under 40 wins that's in the playoffs is the Utah Jazz, sitting at 36 and 22. And yeah, the Utah Jazz, we saw Donovan Mitchell out for a little bit with that concussion, I believe it was. And then also Rudy Gobert, now they're all back. So Jared, you want to start Utah Jazz? What have your reactions been? They made some trades.
Last year I think they ended this as the 2 seed. I think they were.
I think they're the 1 seed.
I don't know.
Aren't they?
Were they the 1 seed? Were the Suns the 2?
I can look.
Maybe they were the 1 seed.
Yeah, I think they were, but keep talking.
Yeah, because they lost to the Clippers, who were the 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't really have much to say about the Jazz. Gobert is a great player. Defensive player of the year candidate again. Donovan Mitchell, once again. They're the same team as I've always seen them, and there's nothing really new I see about them. They got Royce O'Neal and Mike Conley. They got good talent. It's just they're a good team. Nothing really special to say really about them.
Them picking up Alexander Walker from the Pelicans, that was a move that really sparked my interest. They just have solid, Clarkson, Conley, like you said, same guys. But yeah, I think this team is solid too. We'll see if they can get over the hump, because if they don't, there is a chance I think they move on from Quentin Snyder. Might be crazy, but if you look, they haven't made that leap and bound that people think.
Yeah, they could. Since they lost to the Nuggets on Mike Conley's missed 3 in the bubble, that was the farthest they've gotten, I think. I don't know if it was their best chance to win, but yeah, they haven't gotten over that hump since before then, so it could happen, definitely.
Some questions with the Jazz, but yeah, they're sitting well at the 4 right now. Number 3, the Memphis Grizzlies at 41 and 19. They're a 40-win team at the All-Star break. That's impressive, and the reason why, Ja Morant is the guy everyone looks at, and rightfully so. This team's been incredible right now, and power rankings wise, people are putting them in top 3 in the whole NBA, and rightfully so. Ja's kind of been that the guy on the team, 27 points, 7 assists, and then he's shooting almost just a quarter, 0.5% under 50% at 49.5. Wow. So he's almost shooting 50% with averaging the whopping 27 points a game. But, they have solid guys around him. This isn't the same Zach Randolph, Mike Conley squad we saw years ago. And now we're seeing Desmond Bane, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson, those guys, D'Anthony Melton. It's been these younger guys, Zaire Williams. What have you seen, Jared, out of the Grizzlies? And you think they have what it takes to make maybe that run? Or are they a little early right now?
Well, like you said, they're young. They're a really young team. And they got Desmond Bane, who's still really young. Ja Morant's still on his third-year player right now? He is.
Probably, yeah.
Third year,
He did take care of Marquette by himself.
Yeah, on Murray State. I don't think that they're a great team. I don't think they have the experience right now to beat a team like Phoenix or even Golden State. So I would say people are saying they're a top team right now, but I don't know. I think they're a year or 2 away. I think if they make the same run next year, then we could start worrying about them. But I need to see it first, see it happen in the playoffs first before I can say anything about them. So they might be a year away or so.
Steven Adams is one of the oldest players on the team at 28. 28's the highest, the oldest person on that team by age. This is, I believe, the youngest team in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
One of them. and rightfully, like, if you look down the line, everyone's young and they have years to grow. And I don't think, like Jared said, I don't think this is their year yet. Like looking at powerhouses like Phoenix and then Golden State. But hey, I think they could maybe make a little run. They could certainly make some noise, but I don't see them going into the NBA Finals. But with John Morant, anything's possible. They certainly could, and we'll have to wait and see. But let's start now with the number 2 team in the Western Conference, the 42-17 Golden State Warriors. And this is kind of what we expected. I think, rebounding with like Klay Thompson coming back. And then we saw Andrew Wiggins, all-star starter. He's played well this year. There's a lot of guys. Jordan Poole's played solid. He's coming off the bench even sometimes. He's getting the bench minutes. It's been looking really well right now for the Warriors, even with Draymond out.
Yeah. Draymond, Klay, and Steph haven't played a single game since the finals that they were in. Because Klay got hurt for that year, and now Draymond's still out. So like this team is the 2 seed right now, and they could catch the 1 seed, the Suns, with Chris Paul out and now Draymond coming back. That would be a solid lineup. They got Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins,
Looney's
Kevin
played
Looney.
well too. He's played.
Yeah, and Wiseman's still out. I don't know if he would start over Looney at this point, but like, yeah, Jordan Poole then off the bench. I mean, they have a solid rotation. Even with like Toscano Anderson, they have like some depth. I mean, they're a scary team. Yeah, of course. Dunk contest finalist. I mean, they're a scary team. They can make that 1 seed run if they really get their act together, start winning more games when Draymond comes back. I mean, there's a lot that can go on yet, but it definitely helps with Chris Paul being hurt, so they could make a run.
Yeah, this is like talk contenders. They're certainly in the thick of it. You can't rule out the Warriors. They've been solid this whole year. And then let's talk top team in the West, the Phoenix Suns, 48-10 right now.
Unreal.
And this is incredible. They've won 18 of their 19 games, but they have a little problem right now. Chris Paul out 6 to 8 weeks. He was right now considered top 5 MVP candidate, and rightfully so. It's looking interesting because he's going to be out. Cameron Payne is going to be a guy people think they're going to rely on a lot, and that might be the case. Aaron Holiday is another one. Drew Holiday's younger brother. We might see him play more, but wow, I think we'll see Devin Booker. His usage rate is going to go through the roof. But this team is just they lit a fire under them after losing the finals to the Bucks. There's a fire lit, and they are destroying the regular season right now. 48-10. This is what we saw the Bucks do in those years, dynasty years. So
yeah, I think that they're heavy favorites right now to win the East or win the West. I see teams still putting like the Warriors up there ahead of them, or even like some teams like Nuggets. I don't see that. Like the Suns are a great team, and they'd scare me as a Bucks fan. Like if we do meet again in the finals, I would be scared to play them. Like they've lost 10 games all year, and now Chris Paul is out. So if a team is going to catch them, this would be the time to make that run. But Torrey Craig just came back. He could be a nice backup. They did get rid of Jalen Smith, so they got Ayton obviously as their center.
Biyombo as well.
Biyombo, yeah, as a backup.
I like Michael Bridges as well. I think he's a solid.
He's been, if you are betting on sleeper, he's been a solid pick. Like take his points over every time. It's always like 16
either of the Bridges.
Half.
Miles,
Yes.
I'll take them both. They have both been great this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like playing overall. Cameron Johnson's still, a solid guy off the bench. He was annoying in the finals. If we talk,
dunked on PJ Tucker, yeah,
him and Cameron Payne for sure. But Jay Crowder, this is just a solid team built up top to bottom. Frank Kaminsky, Jared's favorite,
Wisconsin native. Yeah,
if I say Jay Crowder for Marquette, I got to throw some Wisconsin in here. I can't just be all Marquette in this episode. So, yeah, Phoenix Suns are my favorite right now out of the West because they've looked phenomenal. We watched them play the Bucks. I know it was in Phoenix, the long road trip for the Bucks. I'm not saying that game means anything really in the grand scheme of things for the Bucks because it doesn't, but they look great. So, you want to move to the East now? Talking 10. Going from 10 to 1. Here we go. The Charlotte Hornets are 29-31. That's kind of shocking maybe for considering how, I mean, look at that roster, how they've played, and they're just a solid, they have a solid roster top to bottom with kind of like starting with LaMelo Ball. And then, the other Bridges, Miles Bridges. And Jared, just you start. What have you seen from the Hornets? And, how do you think they can kind of make that push to kind of solidify their spot in the playoffs? Because this is a better team than 29-31, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, they got LaMelo, who's still young. I mean, young team again. But then they got like Gordon Hayward. Like you said, Bridges has been good all year. So this team should be a lot better than they are right now. I agree with that. They should not be under 500. Yeah, they got a lot of good talent on that team. Oubre off the bench. He's off the bench, right? He's not starting. Is he?
He starts some games. Him and Washington, kind of,
Yeah, Washington. Okay. He's been. I mean, Plumlee. Now they got Montrezl Harrell too, who's been getting a lot of minutes off the bench. He might even start over Plumlee now. So I mean, that team, they are a lot better than what the record shows, and they haven't been playing the best ball, but get it, Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
But they could make a push to at least the play-in. They're in the play-in now, but I mean, they could get in that top 6 and avoid it if they make a big run.
Yeah, they could be our sleeper, no pun intended. Go join our sleeper squad. But hey, number 9, the Eastern Conference finalists, Atlanta Hawks. They've taken a step back, you could say, after what happened last year. Coach Nate McMillan's squad, they haven't really done what they were expected to do, I think, coming out of what happened last year. Them coming in and taking the Bucks to 6 games. That was impressive. And Jared, what do you start here with the Hawks? What have you seen?
I think it's funny. I don't like Trae Young. I don't know how many people that do like him, but he was saying earlier in the year that like the regular season is boring, and that like he's just so used to the playoffs now, and it's just like he doesn't have to try in the regular season, stuff like that. Well, they're the 9 seed right now, and we could potentially see like I think Raptors are 7. We'll get into them, but like it could be like a Raptors, Nets, Hawks, and Hornets play-in game, and two of those teams aren't making it. So I mean, we could definitely see the Hawks get eliminated before not even make the playoffs after Trae saying like it's boring to play in the regular season. So I think that's just hilarious that they're not even like a locked playoff team right now.
Yeah, it's basically, I'd say, the same squad from last year if we look, right? Trae Young, and John Collins kind of being those guys. Clint Capella, it seems like he's taking a step back this year. Hasn't really played well. But then Onyeka Okongwu's been kind of that guy who stepped up for them out of USC. And I don't know. Lou Williams, he's been out, I believe. Not sure, though, with him.
He's old.
Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter, those guys. And Danilo Gallinari, just not mentioning them, and of course Bogdan. But it's been interesting for them. I'd say both those squads, both disappointing right now for them even being the play-in. It shouldn't be like that. They should be probably up there in the standings, but a lot of these teams like above them have really improved their game. So it might make sense in the long run, but let's move on here. Here's a shocker. Number 8, the Brooklyn Nets, 31-28. People would be shocked if they would have heard that at the start of the year, that they would be the 8th seed. They would be in the play-in tournament. And yeah, it doesn't help with Kyrie not being able to play in home games. Durant's been out. James Harden now is traded. So it's been interesting with that, but this is still the Brooklyn Nets. And I don't know how it's going to work. We talked about this in our last episode, Ben Simmons and Andre Drummond together. I'm questioning a lot of things for this Nets team, Jared. How do you feel?
Yeah, I still saw Max Kellerman say KD is still like his final favorite for like finals MVP. So people aren't ruling him out yet. But Kyrie Irving is only going to play 8 games the rest of the year. That's all he can play. That's the only away games they have. And then Kevin Durant, when he comes back from his injury, right now they have like no one. I mean, if Ben Simmons is not ready yet, he's not making his debut right away. So like you look at some of their games like to end before the All-Star break, and they were starting like Patty Mills. I mean, they had like he was like their best player. I mean, Seth Curry now. They have some.
I do like the Dragic pickup was nice.
That was good. Yeah, they had to get rid of Javon Carter, who the Bucks ended up getting. But they're making some. I mean, that was a good acquisition. But right now they don't have any of their stars, and they're not starting. Like their starting lineup is like it's scary. It's not good at all. So I mean, the 8th seed is like, you look at that roster that they have now, and you're like, yeah, that should be like an 8th seed. But you have to remember, they have Kyrie Irving, they have Kevin Durant, who is one of the best players in the league. So I mean, it's crazy that they're that low, but I mean, that's just where they are right now.
Yeah, I like to compare them right now with the Lakers. You know, if they get everyone healthy and all together, this is a championship caliber team. So just depends on what team we get, you know, each night in and out. So Nets, I'd be on the lookout for. Their spot right now, okay, it's fine, but we'll see them in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens when they get there. So now number 7 spot, the Raptors at 32-25. I like this Raptors squad. I like them from top to bottom. That starting 5 is very good. I'm just a fan of, you know, look at how Siakam's played. He's played great. All-star snub. Fred VanVleet, he's played awesome. He has been a guy, and he's just been an absolute baller. Talk about like Gary Trent Jr. Like talk about that run he had for scoring 30 plus, Jared. Well, that was insane. It's just been a great,
Even like Precious Achua. He's been a rising star as shown in that game too. It's just funny. I don't like this Raptors team. Like they scare me. Like Siakam and Bobby Portis going at it like always, you know. Like I don't think the Bucks have beaten them like once this year. They're like 0-3 or 1-4. Maybe they have won like one game, but like it's scary. Like they've made a comeback. Last year they were 12 seed or like 13 seed maybe. I mean, they haven't been relevant since Lowry left, and now they're coming back, and it's like I'm scared to play them. Like, to be honest, if I'm a Bucks fan, I don't want to match up against them. They beat us a few years ago, and they could do it again, I think.
Yeah, Anunoby. If you look, Trent VanVleet, and then like Chris Boucher is solid off the bat. Scotty Barnes, that's the guy I want to mention. Thank you for bringing him up again. Rookie of the year. Talk about a great pick for this team. He's played awesome, except when he can't make the wide open layup. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Missed like 5. Was it 5 of them? I think
4. I think he missed 4. The max he missed 2. But this is looking good. Like Jared said, this is a scary Raptors team. They might be a little. You know, I don't want to say they're a little young because they still have VanVleet, who's a solid bet. He has the finals experience, right? And even like Siakam, they're both 27 only. So this team still got years. Thaddeus Young, they picked him up. That was a good move. Get that solid vet. But this it's looking good for the Raptors, even though where they are being at 7, still liking them. Number 6, the Boston Celtics, 34-26. Not much separation here. Now the next few teams will read 38 wins is 38-21's the top spot, and then 34 wins here are the Celtics. So like this is all close. Anyone, we could even see the Celtics slip into that one spot. Anything can happen. So
especially with the way they're playing right now too, might I add. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. So.
I bring that up. Look what they go into Philly. James Harden rings the bell and they don't care. They won by, what was it, 50 maybe?
40 something, yeah.
It was almost 50. They've been hot. Like they came into the break. You know, they were not wanting a break, right? They've been playing so well. The break almost hurts them because Tatum and Brown, they've, picked it up. We talked about that Derek White move. I love it. I still do. Sam Hauser got a guaranteed contract for the rest of the year. Talk about exciting stuff. It's been fun. Derek White. He's kind of stepped in that starting spot. We might see him and Marcus Smart. Maybe Marcus Smart comes off the bench. White, like they both get starter minutes though. So I like how they've been doing it. Peyton Pritchard, talk about that guy. He stepped up when he needs to. Tice coming back. You like that move? I love that move. Al Horford, he returns. Older, but hey, he's the solid vet they have around.
They still got Robert Williams too. I mean,
there you go.
They've a lot of. They're just like the Raptors to me as a Bucks fan. Obviously, they beat us. It's just I'm scared of them. Like once again, they're a good team. Tatum has his games where he drops 40, 50 points. They got Jaylen Brown, that 1-2 punch. Even with Derek White now, I think he should start over Marcus Smart. But
same here.
They got to make some decisions there. Al Horford, Williams. They got a solid lineup, and they could make a run. As hot as they are right now going into the second half, they could jump up, a few spots. Looking
at ESPN's Basketball Power Index, I know this isn't like, it kind of compiles a number and try to spits out top teams. And Boston's number 1 right now. If you look at and it's by a wide margin, by 1.4.
I think I saw something that was like finals favorites right now. And like the the Celtics were 2 on that list.
Yeah,
they were like way up there.
They played so well that they are like, put it in comparison. Phoenix is 6, Milwaukee 7. I'm not saying this means everything like this. This is it goes game by game efficiency, strength of schedule, pace, days. It puts in all this stuff. It's not exactly something, it's nice to look at if it helps your cause, and it's something that doesn't really make any sense if it hurts your cause. Like Phoenix being 6 is a joke. But hey, it's okay.
Right.
Boston's looking on the way up. Number 5, the Milwaukee Bucks, our team. So 2 minutes, who cares about the time here? Because Milwaukee Bucks, we got to talk about. They are our squad. First half looking in, they've played after an abysmal January. They've played a lot better. I know they dropped 2 of the 3 games they played in the week before the All-Star break, but I still like this team. They're my favorites out of the East.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, they've been the same team as last year. They got Ibaka. It's just, if they would have beaten the 76ers, I think they'd be the 3 seed right now, like a game back from the 1 seed, but another like 2.5 games back, I think. Is it 2 or I think it's 2.5. As the 5 seed, 2.5. Yeah. They're a good team. I mean, obviously they're a good team. They just won the whole thing last year, and I still see them as not clear favorites, but like I still see them. I don't think any team is going to beat them. Maybe that's just me being a biased Bucks fan, but like I can't see a team beating them in a 7-game series.
No, with the depth that they have. And it's been weird because, what hurts is Connaughton's been out. We'll have him back for the playoffs. So then we've seen guys like in games that past week. That's why I throw the 3 games out of the window before the All-Star break. We saw Lindell Wigginton get like 20, 30 minutes, which is like, and he played well in the Pacer game. But other than that, he didn't really play well last week. And that's why that you pick up DeAndre Bembry. That's going to be a nice add-on for this team.
Devon Carter.
Him as well. Drew Holiday's played great. He got snubbed at the All-Star game almost, but against Siakam missed it, so I can't complain.
I think if there was one more spot that would have freed up, it would have went to Siakam or Holiday. It would have been Siakam and then I think Holiday. Yeah, I think so.
Because then it would put the Raptors at 2 players. But Brook Lopez coming back, when he comes back, it's going to be like a trade deadline acquisition. That's going to be big for this Bucks squad. It really is. Because Portis gets to come off the bench, then bench scoring's been the main weakness, I could say, for this Bucks team. Like overall bench production. And
because right now we have Ibaka as our backup. So I mean, if Brook Lopez comes back, I mean, I don't know when he's gonna, but I'm sure he'll be back sometime this year. Then we'll have Portis as our backup, and then Ibaka's right there to follow him up. So
I know Mamukashvili hasn't gotten a lot of time, but like it's gonna be like gone when we see Lopez come back. It's not gonna be there. Greg Monroe, he might get waived, maybe.
I think he will. And
I don't know if he'll waive back, but maybe we'll see. But hey, Bucks, they play on ABC against the Nets February 26th. That should be a fun game. So
this Saturday.
I'm looking forward. I think the Bucks, they're going to win the Central. They're 2.5 back right now of Chicago, but we'll talk about Chicago. They can't beat good teams. And so number 4, though, we'll stick in the Central. This is the best the Central's been in years now. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They're ahead of the Bucks right now. 35-23, not by much, by 0.003% percentage points. So it's very, small, but hey, they are right in the thick of it, and they played well. Their coach is Bickerstaff. He is coach of the year right now. If we look at it, I will defend my case for that, but they play, look what they did All-Star Weekend in the Rising Stars or the skills competition. With Mobley. Mobley could be Rookie of the Year. Him and Barnes are kind of the 2 going at it. Garland's played well. You make a case for him. These guys most improved. There's just that teams look great.
And they're without Sexton too. I mean, they have some players out. Yeah, it's just like I didn't think this team was going to be anything when like the Bucks finally played them. Then the Bucks ended up losing that game, and I'm like, okay, maybe they have something here. So I was like, okay, they got Garland, who's been amazing this year. Jared Allen. I mean,
yes, he's take him out of Brooklyn, and look how he's kind of morphed into this top guy.
Literally all-star too. Now it's like,
and he rightfully so. I know. I take Siakam over him, but with it being Cleveland, Kevin Love, 6th man of the year too. Like he's a candidate. All these guys are candidates for these awards. I'm not saying they're going to win all these awards, but I think they're in top 3 right now, for top 5 even. Because they played very well. Karis LeVert picking him up, that was a good move. It's looking good. Isaac Okoro's been a solid defender, a 2-guy they can use.
I'm going to say the same case as the Grizzlies in the West. I think they're still a few years away. I don't see them as like full contenders yet. I think they're just like a regular season kind of team right now, but they don't have experience.
I'm with you.
Really. I mean, they got Kevin Love, but like that's about all the experience they really have. So it's like I don't see them as being contenders yet, but they're a good team this year so far.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. Philadelphia 76ers will talk 35-23. James Harden with them now. This team, it's getting interesting right now in Philly. Looking at it, Joel Embiid right now is the MVP of the National Basketball Association, and he's played well. Now pair him with James Harden. I want to see how that works. I think it'll work well. Look at how Harden, his assist numbers, and just how well a player he is. It should be just fine. Tyrese Maxey's played well. I want to see Thibault. I mean, that's a guy who we see start and play great defense. No scoring output, and we haven't really seen that yet from him. So that's a question, of course. Korkmaz, see him out the back. He's a scorer. Tobias Harris, he is the definition of a scorer. And
yeah, they got 3 weapons there. I mean, Embiid and Harden are going to be a pick and roll offense, but then they got Tobias Harris there too. So I've seen a lot of people say they're the favorites to win the East. I still have the Bucks, but I mean, they're a great team. And with Thibault, I mean, back into the bubble, he had that YouTube series. I don't know if you watched it, Inside the Bubble, where he had like a vlog every day of the bubble, and I watched like every episode. He was a good guy. I mean, just a respectable player. So I like him, but the 76ers, like they're looking good and going like forward with James Harden now. I mean, all they did is upgrade their team because Ben Simmons wasn't playing. So now they got a 3-headed monster there, and they're a scary team. So I could see them being a top team in the West and the East.
You're spot on. I'll go right with what you said for that. Because right now my Eastern Conference Finals is, I think it's 76ers Bucks. And maybe
I'd say that
Bucks and 76ers have to meet earlier, then I might go,
That's
might go with that, because talk about pretenders. I think the Chicago Bulls are a pretender, and I will give my reason why. I don't have the exact numbers up. I wish I did. My apologies, but like they haven't really beat top teams yet. The record against teams that are in the playoffs right now is bad, very bad. I don't. Because it's changed since, because they played some teams that were supposed to be in the play, like right now the T-Wolves they played recently, so like the stats a little outdated, but just going down their last few, losses. Suns, they lost it. 76ers, they lost it. Raptors. Spurs is an outlier there, but like Bucks, they lost to Grizzlies, Celtics, Warriors, Nets. I don't even need the stat. It's just like, and their wins are against Pistons, Pacers. Like it's Kings.
And it wasn't a blowout win too. Like they had DeRozan had to have like back-to-back buzzer beaters against the Pacers, and I think it was Trailblazers, was it? Maybe, I don't know. But like they've been beating, it's not like they're blowing out bad teams either. So I mean, they have a good team, best team they've had in years, obviously, with Vucevic. Now they got DeRozan, still Levine, Patrick Williams. They have a solid team. Caruso.
My stock for Ayo Dosunmu, and we'll talk about it later. But
yeah,
I bought him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been a solid player this year too. Out of Illinois, Big Ten. So yeah, I mean they're a good team, but like you said, they can't beat the best of the best, and I don't see them doing that going forward in the playoffs. So, I mean, I'd say they're first or second round exits at best.
Yeah, I think they're not ready yet. It's interesting because look at the emergence of DeRozan. He went from all-star level to superstar level with coming to Chicago, and everyone questioned that move. And I think they're still going to be top 5 seed in the playoffs, but I can't see them be number 2. No, not ahead of the Bucks. The Bucks took care of them. DeRozan played well in that game, but I think the Bucks could have won by more than 4. Like it just felt like they were in control of that game. I didn't feel like
they were.
So we'll see how more of their head-to-heads go, but right now I won't say Cleveland should be ahead of them, but I think they'll finish very close together with the Bucks end up being on top. Them being at 2 right now, and And shocker, they're not ahead of the Heat because they lost the tiebreaker because they can't beat good teams. My point, continued. So let's talk about the number 1 team here, the Miami Heat. This is a shocker to many looking. Nobody really would have thought. I mean, they made some great acquisitions, but 1 seed, 38-21. Jared, what do you think? Seeing them at the 1 seed at the break.
I mean, you look at top teams like, say, the Suns. They got Devin Booker, Chris Paul. They got a 2-headed monster there. Then you look at like the Nets with Kevin Durant, the Bucks with Giannis. And then you look at the Heat, and it's like, is it Jimmy Butler? Is it Kyle Lowry? Is it Bam? Like, I'm not 100% sure, like, who's going to be their guy. But yeah, they have good players. It's just they're at the 1 seed right now, but things could change in the next few weeks. So I don't really know.
Well, I'll tell you who their guy is. It's Kyle Guy out of Virginia. He's on that team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny.
I'm kidding. But yeah, it's interesting. Butler's kind of, if you want to say, has been their guy. Bam was out for a while. And then we saw Omer Yurtseven step up, and now he doesn't play. I mean, I'll live on with my case that.
Well, because Bam was hurt.
Yeah,
so
and now he doesn't even they gave Dedmon all the minutes, so it's been interesting. Lowry, he had interesting stretches out with he had a personal matter he's taken care of, and now he's back. And so a little bit rusty, but now, it's coming all back together for him. PJ Tucker, they have solid guys. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. It's an interesting squad right now. I don't think this is a 1 seed squad, but it's certainly a playoff squad looking at how their roster. But yeah, Jimmy Buckets definitely. For sure.
Waking up at 5 a.m. every day, Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
But I don't know where I'd put the Heat at the end of the year. I don't think 1 seed is their spot. Jared, would you say still maybe top 5?
So when my predictions are kind of like, I'd say, I think the Bucks will be 1. That's just what I'm thinking. I would put the 76ers at 2. Then I would say the Heat would go on 3. That's what I'm thinking right now. I think they'll end up the 3 seed. And then I'd say either the Bulls or the Cavs.
I'd go Nets 4.
Nets 4 if they get healthy.
Can they make that get healthy? Look, they have 31. They're 31-28. I mean, I know there's 22 games left, but they're only 4 games back of the Cavs. They're not that far.
I mean, the Celtics are looking good too, though, right now. I mean, they're not like
it's tough, So yeah, you're right. Maybe
So if the Nets don't get healthy, I would say Bulls or Cavs 4 or 5. But if they are healthy, I'd put the Nets at 4.
That's fair.
And then the rest would just be the way it is now. I think my predictions is that the Hawks will make it in and the Hornets will not make it in. But I don't know.
You got Wizards sneaking in, or
no? I would say the top 4 I said with the Nets at 4. Then I'd say Cavs.
Okay.
I don't know who I said.
Celtics
would be in and Raptors would be in.
Of the teams that I think these 10 teams are the ones making the playoffs, because the Wizards, no, Knicks, no, Pacers, no, Pistons, no, and Magic, no. But
the only exception I see would be in the West.
Yep.
Where maybe the Spurs maybe
with DeJounte Murray. Yeah, I think they could easily sneak in there. And then of course we'll see I don't think the Pelicans will, I'll be honest. Kings maybe.
With Sabonis now.
Look where they are. But on any other team there, no. All these teams rebuilding. It's okay. But I don't see it. I think Trailblazers certainly are on the downfall right now. But
yeah.
Briefly, we'll do awards here before we go. We'll talk it's pretty quick here. Rookie of the year, I go. I'll give you 3 guys. Jared, you tell me your rookie of the year. We'll do this for each award.
Okay.
Mobley, Barnes, Cunningham. Who's your rookie of the year?
Right now, Mobley.
I think it's
Barnes is second, I would say, and then Cunningham third.
Good call. I'll agree with you on that. Gobert, Antetokounmpo, Draymond Green. That is defensive player of the year. Who are you taking?
Green's been hurt. That's close. I'm honestly, is it Giannis? It could be, but
it depends on how much we see Gobert play. The rest of the year, he was hurt.
That's what I'm thinking.
He was out for a while. It's either, and Draymond's been hurt. This stretch of him being out hurts his stock a lot. Giannis is the only one who hasn't missed an extensive amount of time. I'll go Giannis if Gobert misses more time, and then I'll go Gobert.
If they're all healthy, I'd say Gobert. But if, like you said, Gobert misses time, I'd agree with that.
Perfect. Most improved player. Ja, Ja Morant, Miles Bridges, Darius Garland. I'll give you 5 here. DeJounte Murray, and then Desmond Bane. This is close this year. Everyone, like all these guys have made significant leaps.
Yeah. Ja has went from like an all-star to a superstar. So I mean, like he's improved, but like I don't know if we could give him most improved because he was already an all-star almost. So like maybe
general consensus thinks Ja. Like I mean, looking at what analysts or the people have said, they think Ja right now is a lock. But
okay,
Garland and Bridges, I think, and Murray even are getting undervalued just because of how well Ja has done. I think Bridges closer.
Miles Bridges kind of started off amazing, and he's kind of slumped a little bit.
Yeah,
but
Garland for me is still
Garland. Yeah,
Garland and Murray, I think are going to be. I think it'll go Ja, Murray, Garland, maybe, or Ja, Garland.
I think it's just the jump from Ja being an all-star level player to like where he is now in like MVP conversations. Yeah. So like yes, he is the best player. So like if you're looking at it that way, yes, for sure he would win it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's 6th man of the year. This is an interesting one. There's a lot of guys in here. I'm gonna throw a big pool of guys in here. Okay. And no pun intended, because first one I throw is Jordan Poole. Yep. Okay. Sorry. I love my puns today. Cam Johnson, Montrezl Harrell, Patty Mills, Jalen Brunson, Kelly Oubre Jr., Kevin Love, and then the one, I'll throw Tyler Hero. That probably everyone's favorite with him he's averaging the most points off the bench for any player.
Yeah.
Off the bench. So what do you think?
Top 2, Hero and Jordan Poole, probably. Right now, it's close.
I'm going Hero.
Yeah, Jordan Poole was starting a lot of the games.
That's
Thompson.
That's why it's hard.
Yeah, I would say right now Hero, but I don't know if that's going to change. It's just he's been the best player.
Yeah, and like usually he actually comes off it helps out, but he gets started minutes off the bench, so again that's going to help his case. But Brunson, we've seen start. I got to cross him out. Oubre, we've seen start a lot. I got to cross him out. Mills, we've seen him start a lot because now Kyrie kind of starts. So all 3 of those guys. So my top 3 is going to go Hero, Love, Poole is how I will do it.
Kevin Love has been having a really good year, so I could. Yeah, you can make that argument.
All right, Coach of the Year, Monty Williams, Taylor Jenkins. He's from the Grizzlies. Bickerstaff of the Cavs, Billy Donovan. And then he's at the Bulls right now. Eric Spoelstra, Heat, and Ty Lue, Doc Rivers, Steve Kerr, Nick Nurse, and then Frank Vogel. Just kidding.
Monty Williams. The Suns are an amazing team, but like they were good last year too. I like looking at a team that was like an 8 seed last year and now the 3 seed, like the Grizzlies, or just a team that was like, obviously it's not just the coach that does it, but like the players on the team. I could still see like Steve Kerr. They weren't even in the playoffs last year, but now they're the 2 seed. Player like coach like Steve Kerr or Williams winning it. So I don't know. It's really close for me.
I'm going Bickerstaff, sticking with it. That Cavs team, it's impressive. We'll look at the roster. And then you still have to, give Monty Williams love. But look, they were dominant last year. I saw I like seeing these other teams kind of step up.
Like I said, it's nice to see a team that was not nearly as good as they are this year. When now they're like the Cavs are the 3-4 seed right now. 3-4 seed, yeah.
MVP. All right,
we can all agree on that one.
I'll just give 3 names, but we got to give other guys love: Curry, Booker, Young, Morant, DeRozan. Throw those guys, whatever. Okay. Joel Embiid, Jokic, Antetokounmpo. I think it's that order right now.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it goes Embiid, Jokic, Antetokounmpo.
Oh. Okay.
So Embiid number 1.
Yes, we can agree on that.
You think
Embiid is the MVP? I think Giannis is slightly above Jokic right now.
And the reason I like to look at player efficiency rating, Jared, and looking at the leaders right now of player efficiency rating, I believe it goes in actually that very order. It's loading right now. And that's usually it's been actually kind of a way to tell who wins the MVP, which has been interesting. Like it's literally been like that. Like it spoke like the MVP winners the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, I'm pulling them up right now. And actually, my apologies. It's actually Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid right now. So actually, this kind of goes indifferent, but what I said, but
that's his argument. Jokic is it's like his efficiency is unreal. It's like the best it's like ever been in however many years. So like that makes sense that he's like top. But I would say top 5 for me would be in that order. I would have Embiid 1, Giannis 2, Jokic 3. I'd say DeRozan is 4, and then Ja Morant is 5. Only because Curry, if we're talking 2 months ago or a month ago, Curry is by far number 1, but he fell off so far. He's like 7th, 8th. He's way out of there now. So I'd say that's my top 5.
That's fair. And I was just looking through on the player. It's predicted the last 3 MVP award winners. So when I talk about it predicting, it's predicted the last 3. And that helps that it's been predominantly big men who win it. And look, top 3 guys right now, you could qualify as, played the center position. So right now you are going the way you are, and you still got Embiid. We agree Embiid, right?
Yep.
So
Definitely.
We'll stick with that. And not to give Giannis love, I think potentially a big second half run. If when the Bucks improve, I think he'll sneak for me into number 2. But looking at first half of the year, I still want to put Jokic in there just because look, Jamal Murray's been out and they still are where they are.
That's a good point. But they are the only argument. I mean, even with the Bucks, they are like the 5 seed. So like, but the East is a lot closer than the West. Like
the West has better teams. Yeah.
The Suns are unreal right now. So like no one's going to catch the Suns unless it's like the Warriors. But yeah, we can all agree probably Embiid's number 1, and then Jokic is having an amazing year. But
both guys
right
are,
now,
you know know
what I'm saying.
So at the end of that looks pretty good for the awards. And if Giannis can't win the MVP every year,
it helps his resume. I mean,
even though he could, he really could. But
yeah,
that kind of wraps up our midseason thing. We're looking forward to the second half. Jared, with that, you got anything else?
I think that's all. That's it. Second half is starting soon, so look forward to that and more episodes, like you said, in the future.
Perfect. Yeah. So with that, thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Jordan Drew, the Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.